Antardwip, thank you very much for your time.
Hare Krishna.
You're connected to the temple of the Vedic Planetarium.
Yes.
And in charge of the Vedic Cosmography.
I'm consultant for the Vedic Cosmology Consultant, yes.
Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit about the development of the project as you know it? How long have you been involved, for instance?
I believe it was 2006, a Vedic Cosmology research group was set up. It was pioneered by Charanarayana Mataji, who was working with Ravinda Prabhu, and they advertised for devotees interested to get on board and be involved. So at that stage I'd been studying some of the Vedic astronomical literature for some time, and I put my hand up, set out to do this. And gradually, well, after a few years, well, maybe 2 years after that, we moved to Mayapur. Myself, my wife, 2 children, and being there where it was all developing just got me more and more involved. Of course, the whole idea for the Vedic Planetarium came from Of course, the whole idea for the Vedic Planetarium came from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder and Acharya of ISKCON. He envisioned that within Mayapur there'd be a grand temple, and within that temple be a depiction of the universe as is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our main sacred literature.
It's our encyclopedia. And so you were mentioning that, and what time of your life did you get involved in this project? About how many years ago?
With my own personal study, or with the...
Working with the ToVP?
Working with the ToVP started in 2008. Late 2008, early 2009, yes.
Earlier on I was speaking with you and we mentioned the Australian and Kiwi contingent of the project. Some of the devotees from our 2 countries are holding particularly interesting roles in development.
Yes, Australia and New Zealand have always had a large representation within Mayapur for some reason. Probably relating back to the days when Bhavananda Prabhu was the GBC for Australia and New Zealand, and he was the head manager of Mayapur, so yes. I think that would have come from there.
So what are the plans, as far as you're seeing, we've just finished the dome, they're now putting the Kailash on top, and then what sort of progress can we expect in the next, say, year or 2 years?
We can expect that the whole superstructure will be complete, so then it's a question of all the finishing, and that should be 5, 6 or 7 years in total, because there's a lot to do. So that's what will be in the next year. Superstructure is finished, and now start putting in the marble, tiles on the dome, all of those things, concrete on the domes, all of those things.
And the plans, there's a number of plans for developing funds. One of them is, I'm not sure if it's still on the table, but 1 square foot.
Yes.
How's that plan going?
I don't know a lot about the fundraising activities, but from my understanding it has been quite successful. Is that Jananivas Prabhu, who is the head pujari in Mayapur, went on a fundraising tour of North America. I believe it's the first one who's been out of India for decades. And I heard that was very successful also. They travelled with Lord Nityananda's shoes on the altar. And there's other programs also, gold coin, silver coin, platinum coin, people give a sizable donation, there's a gold brick program, so all these different things are going on.
And the actual idea of the exhibit, that's the thing that, when I say we, as a community, we're trying to develop the chandelier. That is the exhibit. So could you tell us what you've understood so far, because there has been a nice CGI film made. Maybe you'd like to mention who made that. But I'm just asking you, what do you, in your, since 2008, what have you understood then about the whole umbrella idea, the chandelier idea, I should say?
Okay, well, Srila Prabhupada requested, he wrote a letter in 1976 to Mr. Dhani in India. This fellow, Mr. Dhani, had published an article in a newspaper where he speaks about Puranic geography and cosmology. So Srila Prabhupada wrote to him and said, I understand you're an expert. We want to do this temple of the Vedic Planetarium in India, attract people from all over the world, present Krishna consciousness. And within the main dome, hanging from the ceiling, we are going to show the cosmos as is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada gave a list there what he wants to show. Beginning from the subterranean planets, then the Earth, and then the space between Earth and the heavenly planets, and then all the planets within there of Moon, Sun, stars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, the Big Dipper, Pole Star, Rupaloka, and then even higher, Mahajanatapa and Satyaloka, and all of that within the universe, and then the coverings of the universe, and then what's beyond the universe, the causal ocean, Mahavishnu lying on the causal ocean with innumerable universes that have emanated from the pores of his transcendental body. And beyond there, the Brahmajyoti and the Vaikuntha planets. And at the summit, Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost abode, where Krishna and Radha and their eternal associates have their pastimes. So this is the overview. Oh, I left out one. Outside of the universe, there's also the abode of Lord Shiva, where he has associates and he resides. This is the overview. It's taken a number of devotees studying the Puranas and the different astronomical and cosmological texts of the Vedas to put this all together into a coherent presentation, because we're dealing with things that are beyond our perception. There's no direct instruction in the Vedas, this is how you make a Vedic planetarium. So it's a lot of research and bringing together. But we're satisfied that we've come and developed a model that accurately presents the Srimad Bhagavatam and at the same time takes the movements of the planets as they are given in a universe that is very unfamiliar to us, but explains them in such a way that it relates to exactly what we perceive. Because Srila Prabhupada requested, if we can take the Bhagavatam and show how the model given there accounts for day and night, seasons, phases of the moon, so on, it would be very powerful propaganda. Eclipses, correct.
And so, how tall is the chandelier going to be?
Okay, it hangs from the centre of the dome and its height is about 70 metres vertically and a width of 20 to 25 metres.
And access to viewing it, and I imagine is...
You can see, you come into the temple room, you'll see the deities in front, you look up and see it above you, and then above there's 3 levels of balconies that go all the way around, viewing levels. You can see the different aspects from different angles.
And the other domes, because there's 2 other domes,
yes,
if I understand it. Please explain.
The eastern dome will be Lord Nrsingadev's temple. He'll have his altar in there. And there's also some viewing galleries there. And the western dome is known as the Vedic Science Centre. There'll be 3 levels of exhibits dealing with all aspects of science and the Vedic perspective on life comes from life, soul, transmigration of the soul through different bodies, and of course the astronomical and cosmological aspects will be there too. And then at the very top there'll be a projection theatre where films, in-house films regarding different Vedic scientific topics will be displayed. It'll be a full dome, so quite an immersive experience.
I spoke with Hari Suri about the dome, and he mentioned that it won't be exactly where everyone's having to tilt their neck back. There's something about a tilted dome?
Yeah, it's a tilted dome, so rather than just sitting like this, the dome sits like this, and the chairs come up, are on an incline going up like this. So you basically just have to look forward like that, up and forward.
Everyone has the same aspect.
Yes, and being on a tilted dome like that, the front part here can be used for screening of regular flat films without the dome aspect. Plus there'll be small stage there also.
Thank you. So, this small team that's thinking through and inquiring, asking other experts to get that Vedic cosmological model, are you satisfied at this point? Is there
Yes.
maybe still things we need to look at?
We're satisfied that the model that we're presenting is like I said, an accurate depiction of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that we can explain observable phenomena from that, so we're satisfied with that. Now the question is getting it made. So we're currently in the process of speaking with different engineering and robotics companies, finding out who can do it for us, because it's quite complex. It's able to show the real-time movement of the planets, and sped up, slowed down, move to any date in the future or past, and show where the planets will be.
One of the features I saw was your clock. When I say your, I mean the temple clock.
Yes.
That gateway clock looks fabulous to me.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that clock?
Above the main entrance, there's 3 clocks. The one in the centre is an astronomical clock that shows the movements of the stars and the planets in real time and their positions, and there's also a horizon line on there so you can look at it, and for Mayapur where it is, when a planet is within that horizon zone, you know it's in the sky, and when it's outside of it, it's not visible at the moment. So it will show all the movements of the planets, it's the movement of the sun, the seasons and everything. On one side we have a regular clock that everyone's familiar with, and on the other side a moon phase clock that will have a large hemispherical moon in the centre to show the illumination of the phases of the moon from full moon to new moon and back again, plus a moon going around the outside showing which lunar day we are in. 1 month from full moon to full moon is divided into 30 phases for religious purposes, and it'll indicate that, which is important for devotees because on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, we have fasting and so on.
So, the idea of the temple, as I understand it, is to attract people, different groups, faiths, scientists. Who are we really looking at to bring to this temple and to observe the actual message that devotees are trying to portray?
So within the Vedic scriptures, all people of all different castes, creeds and cultures are understood to be the spirit soul. And all of us are essentially the same. It's not that we're the body and we are the soul currently residing in bodies. So the purpose is to bring living entities who are in this world closer to Krishna. It's not one particular group or one particular society. It's anybody who might be willing to hear the message and come and take an advantage of it. So if scientists, some will be attracted, religionists, some will be attracted, philosophers, everyday people. It's open for everybody. We're trying to present in the Science Centre things at a level that someone who's educated to a high school standard will understand, and then also give more detail for those who are more educated or more interested. So we're trying to make it just available for everybody, considering that all souls are naturally related to Krishna.
Do you think that before the temple's actually finished, there'll be some functions there, to prepare for this? Do you think you'll have, or are you going to wait till the temple's finished before you have conferences and things?
There's different ideas on that. Some want to do some preparatory work now. My personal opinion is it's not required. When it opens, it'll be automatically headlines.
I agree, absolutely.
And I believe Srila Prabhupada made a similar statement. As soon as it's open, people will be interested.
Just recently, and this is a little bit curveball, we might say, just recently it's come to our attention of this group, the Flat Earth group, the new group. And I've been looking into their subject matter for a little while, over 4 months now, and I noticed some of our CGIs, when I say ours, the devotional Hare Krishna computer-generated imagery that have been made in the past, and our videos have been now seeping into their usage. And I alerted to one particular gentleman, we don't need to mention his name at the moment, but he essentially has grabbed all 3 of different films and put into his film. And I was particularly distressed because there's no mention of any connection to the devotees, not to our message, not about Prabhupada.
Yeah.
What do you feel? How do you see?
Yeah, I think your last point there is the most important one. Our purpose of building the temple of the Vedic Planetarium is not to promote Vedic sciences or astronomy or cosmology as the be-all and end-all. It's simply an entry point. Our whole purpose is to spread Krishna consciousness. So the big difference between Vedic cosmology and many other cosmologies is Vedic cosmology is purely theistic. The creation, the maintenance, and eventually the winding up of the entire cosmos all goes on because of the personality of Godhead. Okay? So everything we do, and this is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we present this Vedic cosmology for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness. So if you divorce it from the Krishna consciousness and have it just on its own, it's not so beneficial. We're not really interested in that.
Sort of like dry toast, no flavours.
Yes. Yes. In fact, in the Vedic tradition, there's different types of knowledge. There's transcendental knowledge, dealing with the content and activities of the spiritual world. Then there's material knowledge, everything about the world, but how it's connected to God. And then you take that same material knowledge and present it with no connection to the Lord. That's called ignorance. It's not even counted as knowledge. So we have no interest in doing that.
So can you tell us roughly the difference between, just for the novice, between geocentric and heliocentric models?
Okay, so in astronomy, everyone knows, you look outside and you see the sun rise, the sun set. It looks like the Earth is stationary and the sun is moving, the moon is moving, the stars are moving. So that was the idea held by humans for many thousands of years. And that's called the geocentric model. The Earth is in the center. Geo-Earth, centric. About 500 years ago, some very intelligent astronomers decided an alternate proposal, and that is the sun is in the center and everything moves around it. They gave their reasons, their justifications and so on. That's considered to be somewhat the birth of modern science, and that has been developed over the last 500 years to a very complex model. So heliocentric, helios is the sun, heliocentric means the sun in the center, geocentric means the Earth in the center. So there isn't an observation that can be made that verifies which one of these is correct, because of the relative motion of the two. If you wanted to observe to see what's the actual movement, you have to be observing from outside of the whole situation.
Outside of the solar system,
yes.
In fact.
So we don't have the ability to do that. The Vedic scriptures present, the Vedic astronomical scriptures present an Earth-centered view of the universe, with the Earth in the center, and the sun, the moon, all the planets got, and the stars moving around it. So obviously this is at odds with modern science.
Yes.
But for those who follow the Vedic tradition, they have faith that the Vedas this is the Word of God. Shall we accept?
Is there, what's our understanding about eclipses for your understanding?
Okay, well there's two different explanations that can be given. The explanation given in the what's called the Siddhantas, the Vedic astronomical texts, involve very much as modern science, the movement of the Earth and the Sun and the Moon and their relative positions and the casting of shadows. And then there's the explanation which is given in the Purana, such as Bhagavad Puranas and other Puranas, about a person of the name Rahu, who is inimical towards the Sun and the Moon, who are also people. And he actually attacks them. So once Srila Prabhupada was asked, what does that mean he attacks them? And Prabhupada said, what does it mean I attack you? What does it mean I attack you? Okay. So for some time he covers the light of the sun or the moon, depending on whether it's a solar or an eclipse. So they're the two different. So in the astronomy also, that body is also considered to be shadowy and is given the same name, Rahu.
But we can't physically see it in any way, shape or form. There's no physical evidence of Rahu.
No.
So it's esoteric, or it's unseen.
It's unseen to us, but
yes.
It doesn't mean it's unseen to everybody. So many of the aspects of the Puranic universe are beyond our perception. That doesn't mean they're in higher dimensions, or it just means that our senses are imperfect. We are born with a certain karma, you come into a certain place, in a certain body, and you are given certain senses that experience only specific things. So humanity on this earth, as we know it, only has access with their senses to a very small portion of the real, the total existence within the universe and beyond the universe. So our experience should not be taken as the ultimate source of authority. That's what is done in modern science. But for devotees of Krishna and followers of the Vedas, we take the Vedic statements as being a higher authority than our own perception or logic. Okay?
Thank you. So, what was the other thing I was going to say? So this temple, though, with all due respect, is a little bit different in real terms, because most temples are to deities, but this is specifically, although the deity is there, and we're not digressing from the importance, but this actually, how, to your recollection, is this just Srila Prabhupada's vision, or is this further into our parampara?
I know that this is Srila Prabhupada's vision.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a discussion that Srila Prabhupada had with his godbrother Sridhar Maharaj in Navadvip, and it was in Bengali, and there was some discussion there. Bhavananda Prabhu, who was there at the moment, he recounts that the idea came up from the joint discussion that Srila Prabhupada had with Sridhar Maharaj. Now, I'm not sure whether Srila Prabhupada already had a previous idea or it came up that generated, I don't know. But from that point on, Srila Prabhupada, he really pushed that we build this temple of the Vedic Planetarium. And at one stage he asked Sridhar Maharaj, you come and live with us here and you can oversee the development. But I believe Sridhar Maharaj wasn't well at that time.
Mm.
That's my understanding.
So, from here back to Mayapur soon,
Yes.
how long will your stay be then, till you're back here? Let's just say.
I'm not sure whether we'll come back. The past few years we've been coming back when it's the rainy season in Mayapur, but I'm not sure we'll come back next year, so it may be late next year or early 2017.
Well, it's been a long time for me to catch up with you, 5 years, so if we can catch up annually, that'd be a really good thing. I'd like to present whatever new
developments
is there. And just getting back to that other issue, our cosmology, have we looked into other religious cosmologies as well to see if there's any similarities?
Yes.
What's your understanding of, say, the difference between Hebrew and ours? whichever one you know is the best.
My understanding is that the Vedic cosmology is the original, and that other world traditional cosmologies are taking different fragmentary parts from them. And some represent it more, some represent it less.
But essentially it's the same model, it seems to me.
To some degree, yeah.
With
more or less.
more or less.
Yes.
The likelihood's less in most of the cosmology.
Yeah, but over time, and passing from one culture to another, then things get added and subtracted and changed. But yes.
On the issue I brought up just before regarding our videos, and when I say ours, I didn't produce any of them, but I've been in knowledge of this temple's creation for decades, and I've been studying the videos that pop up from time to time. There's only 3 actually. What do you feel when I brought it to your attention that other people are using our videos or to promote what they're talking about?
Yeah, there's definitely an issue there if they've got a separate agenda of what they're promoting, and we'll have to look into that. I personally don't have a problem if they're using videos and giving credit where credit is due. This is from the Hare Krishna movement. They're building a temple of the Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur, they'll be presenting this. That's nice. If they're using it and giving us no acknowledgement, then that's basically plagiarism.
And the core group is it growing? The artists that are going to have to be coming on board?
It's basically staying the same. Most of our video production is done by Sri Prabhu, who's very capable and gifted at CGI. And we have other filmmakers there. There's a devotee, Sri Das from New Zealand, who's a very good videographer. Used to work for Sky TV in New Zealand.
Antardwip, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
That'll do. That's fantastic.
Okay.
And
Are you satisfied?
yeah, I don't want to go into too much politics, but if I'm going to speak to Eric today, I'm going to say, okay, listen up. You don't be playing that stuff. I want to get...
So you're happy with what I said about that?
Yeah. What I'm saying is, I want to...
It's for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness.
Absolutely.
It's not for the purpose of presenting flat Earth.